Hello, welcome to another video on my channel. Today we're talking about money, specifically how much it cost to go to all 3 Yoongi shows in LA. And I asked on my Instagram, because I'm about to leave for Korea in 2 days, what video you guys wanted to see, because either I could do this video or a personal Q&A, and you guys said you want to see this one first, so we're gonna go ahead and do it. I also asked on my Twitter, by the way, but they both won by a landslide. And yeah, also I'm gonna try to get through this video, and I'm gonna film it now. I was gonna wait like an hour, but I'm gonna film it now because I just don't have time. Again, I leave for Korea in 2 days. I don't have time for anything. So I'm gonna film it now. We're gonna get happier throughout this video, but something just happened that pissed me off. So I'm not in a good mood, but I'm gonna get in a better mood with your help. Anyways, so we're gonna talk about this, and I guess I will also provide a disclaimer before we get started. I wanna say that this is in no way bragging, and I'm not trying to like flex on anyone or whatever. This is legitimately just to outline how much it cost, because a lot of people do wonder, and a lot of people want to do this and want to see how, like, the breakdown of the money, I guess. I also don't think that money should be such a taboo thing to talk about. Finances is like a really hard topic, and especially for someone who just didn't have anybody to look at or get any information from anyone in my family or anything. I'm an immigrant kid. I didn't know how much any of this stuff cost. I didn't know anything, and so I wish there were videos like this before I started, but you know, I'm gonna make them. Also, I started making videos of a concert series. I'll link them down below. It was the first 2 that I made is the cost of concerts, as in why concerts are expensive, and also kind of a commentary on Ticketmaster and their prices and scalpers and why they suck, basically. So I'll link those down below, as well as I'll link my Yoongi vlog, because I did go to these shows and vlog them. And yeah, I also chose this video for a very specific reason. I chose the Yoongi shows for a very specific reason. Number one, a lot of my followers follow me because they are also BTS fans, and a lot of people know me as a BTS fan because I am. And so it was good to pick a BTS member, I think, and also that it's more than one show, and it's something that I traveled to. It was a span of 10 days, which is kind of a long time, and I decided to also pick something that cost a little bit more. This did cost more than a lot of my trips, just because of, you know, how much everything cost, but in the time frame of the 10 days, but I wanted to showcase something that cost more. That way it would be a better picture for everybody. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. If you guys ever want me to make how I make these spreadsheets, because everything that we do, we meaning me and Mo, a lot of times it's split between the 2 of us. I end up buying things, she buys things. Like, I'll buy the tickets to the concert, and then she'll buy the hotel, and then I'll buy the flights, and then she'll buy, you know, like, it's back and forth, and then we even out the difference of money. That way it is fair and even, and we can keep track of all of it, because honestly it's a lot of charges and sometimes it's hard to keep up. So we do make spreadsheets. This is our spreadsheets for Coachella, Muna, and Yoongi. We went, and also Head in the Clouds. We went to all of those things. We saw Muna a total of 5 times, Yoongi 3 times. We went to Coachella, and then we also went to Head in the Clouds, and it was all done in the span of 6 weeks. So we made a spreadsheet for all of that, because we just kept buying things back and forth, and it could get really messy if you don't keep track of it. But for the purpose of this video, I pulled all of the Yoongi numbers and I put them into a more detailed spreadsheet, and I also color coded it in order for it to be easier for the video. So yeah, and then I'll put on the screen somewhere screenshots of, like, as I'm talking about the costs. That way you guys have a clear visual. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get started. If you have any questions, let me know. And if you would also like me to make a video about budgeting for concerts and also how my spreadsheets work, let me know. Maybe I'll do that. Yeah, and so let's get started. The first part of the spreadsheet that I have in front of me is going to be prior to leaving for LA. So this is all the stuff we bought before we actually went to LA. And the first thing would be the tickets. We bought all 3 tickets together. All 3 shows. It was 6 tickets together. And for all 3 shows, we had VIP general admission standing floor. And we paid together. Each show total came out to $1,148, which means that each ticket was $574. So $574 3 times means that each person paid $1,722 for all 3 tickets. And then the next thing we bought was the flight there. We originally bought a flight there together, which was $278. And then it was $139 per person. And the flight home, we had separate flights because I was originally going to Oakland, but with Muna in Denver and Head in the Clouds, I just didn't feel like I had enough time to do all of it. That would mean that I'm gone from home for 3 weeks and didn't go into the office at all. Although I work remote, I like to go in the office. It's a long story. But anyways, I didn't end up going to Yoongi in Oakland. And so I bought a flight home from LA to Austin and it was $148. But I did use my flight points, so I didn't spend anything on it. My flights ended up being a total of $139. And yeah, Mo's numbers are different because she got a different flight home. I'm sure it's similar to mine, just without using the points. And then the hotel was $1,215, and we also split it between the 2 of us, but we had a friend that stayed there. My friend Natasha stayed there for only a certain number of days. She paid like $202. We paid $506.25, and that also included, we bought a lot of snacks while we were at the hotel, so slay. Anyways, and then before that, airport parking. I didn't have anybody to take me to the airport, and then I needed to go to work right when I landed. And so I parked my car at the airport, and I parked it for 10 days, totaling to $120. And then the airport food, when I went to the airport before I flew, I bought a meal and it was $15.90. So the airport cost was $135.90. And then finally, the last thing we got before we went to LA was number 1, camping gear. We were camping for these shows, so we needed a tent, we needed blankets, pillows, things like that, because we're not from LA. We don't have any of that over there. We spent $102.52. We bought it on walmart.com and we shipped it to Sydney's house over there. Sydney was not camping with us. And she was only going to the 3rd show, but since she lived over there, we sent it all to her house, and it was only the only people occupying the tent was me and Mo, so we split it, and it was $51.26. And when I say camping gear, tent, pillows, blankets, I also bought like wipes because I knew there was going to be porta potties, just random stuff like that. And then exhibition ticket. We went to the BTS exhibition in Santa Monica that was there, and we paid a total of $185.22. That was split between 3 people because that was a ticket for me, Mo, and Sydney, and it was $61.74 per person. So those 2 equals to $113. And so prior to leaving, even before LA, just the ticket, flight, hotel, and like all the stuff that we needed before we left, I spent $1,996.90. It's already a crazy number to me, but whatever. And that's all of these totals are going to be per person, by the way. So that's how much I spent. And then in LA, I'm going to give you the unnecessary things first. While I was there, because it was 10 days, I also landed a few days before Mo. I went to AMC theaters and I saw the movie about Jordans, like how Jordans came to be. the shoe, and it was $14.28. And then also in between the shows, because he had 2 shows back to back and then he had 2 days before the last show, me, my friend Moni, and my friend Natasha went to Little Tokyo, and I spent $79.15 there, which is kind of a lot. But obviously, if you go to shows, you don't have to shop or go see a movie, but I did, and it was $93.43 total. And then also unnecessary, but a little more towards concerts, is merch. I did buy merch at the exhibition, which was $107, sorry, and 87 cents. And then I also bought concert merch, which was $182.16, totaling out to $290.03 for merch. Then finally is the necessities. We didn't have a car there. The only access to a car we had was Sydney, but Sydney was working the whole week. We were camping, and she worked up in Santa Monica, and we were camping in Inglewood. She didn't camp at all. So we actually only saw her when she saw Joji the day before Yoongi on Sunday, and then Yoongi on Sunday. And so we had to get all our own transportation, of course, and it was $403, which means per person it was $201.50. And then groceries and food. So groceries and food, this is my portion. Mo and I went back and forth paying for things. So groceries for me was all the non-eating out places. It was like us going to Target, getting things like toilet paper, sunscreen, things like that. I got like Mucinex at one point because being outside so long made my nose run. But anyways, this is the breakdown. I'll put the breakdown of groceries over here, and it was $175.44. Then I'll put the breakdown of food. This is all the fast food, the DoorDashes, the things that I spent on my card, and it was $411.15. Mo didn't give me a breakdown of hers, but the portion that she spent on hers for food and groceries was $488. How much I spent ended up $586. And just as this being an example, so I spent like $100 more. What we would do is we would split the number in half, and then subtract it. So like, let's, if we do this, basically we would do 586 divided by 2, and it would equal 293. And then we would do 488 divided by 2, and that would be 244. And then we would do what would we do? We would do the higher number minus the lesser number, and we spent a difference of almost 100, which means $49 per person was the difference, and the person who spent less would pay the person who spent more. That way we're not trying to split the money in the moment, because when you're like sitting there and eating and then you're paying, we just do it at the end of the trip. And that's a good example between food and groceries. Like if you took the numbers that we have, Mo would owe me $49, if that makes sense. Again, I can make a detailed video on how we do spreadsheets and how we budget and things like that. But anyways, in total, the food, groceries, and our transportation was $738.80, which is expensive. These fluctuate when you travel. LA is a more expensive city. Like when we go to the middle of nowhere to see someone, it's a lot cheaper with these things, and the hotel is also a lot cheaper. And Lyfts and Ubers are cheaper, things like that. So that's something to take into consideration when you go places. The bigger the city, the more these things like your necessities will cost. So in LA, all the things we bought, merch, food, things like that, cost $1,122.26. So total combined, the money before we left plus the money that we spent in LA per person was $319.16. And yeah, so that's how much it cost. And again, I know that sounds like a scary number, And again, I did also pick a trip that was more expensive. It was more towards the expensive side. Sometimes me and Mo will do a trip 500 or under, you know. We actually used to do that a lot when we first started being friends. We were both in college. We didn't have a lot of money, and there's a lot of ways to make it cheaper. That's another video I could do, is, you know, how to travel and then budget if you don't have a lot of money, and then like what you can do if you do have more money to spend, and things like that. Mo and I have done everything under the sun basically when it comes to money. Like we have slept in our cars and ate McDonald's for 3 days straight, and then we've also spent more like now. And so yeah, that is how much it cost to go see Yoongi and spend 10 days in LA. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. I do ask, please keep it positive. I know a lot of people get really upset when people talk about money, and like I said, this is in no way bragging, but a lot of people think that if you spend your money on things that are leisurely or fun, that they can just be mean. Or I get a lot of comments about how it's unfair, or I suck basically for doing all this. But I think that anyone who works hard for their money should spend their money how they want to, and as long as it's not harmful for themselves or others. I think it's important to live your life and spend your money, but at the same time acknowledge your privilege. So yeah, if you have any questions, let me know and leave them down below. The next video will be me in Korea, which is crazy. If you haven't already, the last video I posted was me packing for Korea. Watch that if you would like. If, again, you have any questions about budgeting, if you think, let me know if you think I should make the videos about budgeting for concerts and how to do concerts, travel on a budget, and things like that, and also spreadsheets, things like that, or what you want to see from me. I do want to revive my concert series that I started a few months ago. But yeah, I will see you guys in Korea, and like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.